I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first item on our agenda is the Highway Department. Brett Morris.
Good morning.
Morning, Brett.
First thing I would like to ask permission for an additional cell phone for the Highway Department.
This is for Sherry's main use?
Yes.
I don't have a problem with it if it's something that you need, and I think you kind of already explained earlier why it's needed, so I don't have a problem with it.
I don't either. Just to
I'll make a motion we allow Brett.
Excuse me.
I'll make a motion we allow it. I know it would.
Go ahead. Oh,
I'll make a motion we allow the highway department to obtain an additional cell phone.
Second.
And what the discussion on it.
Absolutely. My only question is, and I remember the council did some work on this the last year or the year before, and they bundled all these cell phones, as I remember it. It's a pretty hefty figure. How, in your motion, how are you going to pay for this?
Brett?
The highway is paying for it.
Then are we going to get into a situation? As I recall, we went into a bundled situation to get away from different departments having. Do you remember anything about that, Jim?
I just know that there is an item in our budget for cell phones. I think it's like $6,000. I think what it was is you could go as we were a group, so you could go individually and get that, but you got the discount value of the pricing. So I think if you use Tipton County's name, then it's through Verizon. I'm not even for sure on that.
They're all with Verizon now,
yeah,
right?
so I think if you go to Verizon, use county's name, get some discounts.
Brett,
And that's, and that's, I assume you're just going to go with Verizon.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. You can throw our name out there and see where it goes, and just use your own judgment if they try to. There'll be an account. There'll be a national account, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you want to explain the rationale why Sherry needs this phone, what she's doing with
yeah,
it.
basically,
things have changed in your office, and
right,
and the need for her to be out in the field some too.
Things have actually changed quite a bit. Some of it due to OSHA. We have set up Google Calendar throughout my phone, Jeff's phone, and it'd be Sherry's phone also. We've had all kinds of meetings with OSHA, and not everything relates to them. We set up our whole date planner on Google. She also is the assistant to the surveyor, engineer. So there's also times that she needs to look at bank map and stuff when she's out in the field with it. So just various things like that. So, and it, some of it's for my benefit also, so that if she's off work or something, I can get a hold of her if I have a question, because obviously she knows a lot more about the books than what I do. So makes it pretty convenient also.
Any more discussion? Okay, we have a motion second on the floor. All those in favor of allowing the highway department to add this additional cell phone for Sherry, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Did the president of the IDEM meeting get cancel?
No, they moved it to 11 o'clock. The billing for the attorney fees, which I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. We don't have a someplace to pay that out of, or find other means to pay it or something.
I don't think that'd be the highway's responsibility.
This one's been paid out of our.
Right. Yeah. And what are your thoughts for the future? Do they need a line for legal fees? Or do you run everything, continue to run everything through the commission?
I think we'd be best served to run through here.
That's the one.
I think we'd be best served to run through the commission.
Yeah.
It just makes a central point to bring that.
I think for now, yeah, that's what we have in the past, so it's okay with me too.
Okay. Do we need a motion to do that? That's nothing different than we've done in the past.
I think we just put this with the claims and pay out our budget.
So Greg needs to
So
know to
this
do
is
that.
just an invoice from Mr. Brook, and he just includes,
He's got an invoice there.
it just happens to be, you've just highlighted the ones that are specific to your department, right?
Yeah.
Unlike what anyone else would do, that would, I don't see any.
Yeah, I think Gary just submitted with regular claims, we pay it like we always have. That hasn't been submitted this time, has it, no claims?
January 28th? I don't know.
Do we have a claim for the attorney?
Not sure.
We got it.
Good claim.
Yeah, we got a claim on there.
Well, Lindsay will know when she comes in.
Yeah, we'll just ask Lindsay.
I like this invoice, I like some of them.
Okay. Anything else, Brett?
No, that's pretty much it, though.
You want this back? This
Yeah.
was yours? Okay.
The only other thing I got is, we're just doing regular maintenance, just patching potholes and things, and everything's going pretty smooth.
Okay. If you leave before we get to claims and so forth, you might make sure that Lindsay asks her if she has a copy of that particular bill.
Okay. Okay.
Well, is it in there?
I don't know if it's in there.
Yeah, I don't know either. So that's why Lindsay will take a look at it. Okay.
Thank you.
Here, John?
I've got something on the highway department. I
Okay.
mentioned this to Brett before. The county's been working on County Road 560, I think it's 560 West out there, redevelopment and building that road. And one of the issues that had come up last year was a railroad crossing and some cantilevered arms that the state was insisting that we put on that, even though the park isn't developed and there's going to be hardly any traffic for some time on that. At that point, it was the county's obligation to pay for that in full. So with Larry Weitzel's insistence, the county filed an appeal to INDOT's railroad section. The appeal was timely, and I received an email, towards the end of January, that INDOT wanted to have a meeting out here with the commissioners and with the highway department. And then I got an email a couple days later that the INDOT railroad people had found $40,000 of federal funding to fund that 100%, which was good, because that's well within the estimate that Tipton County and the engineers had to pay for that. And the state would like to have the county withdraw their appeal, and then they would put that money towards the payment of those cantilevered arms. So it alleviate Tipton County's responsibility for having to pay anything on that. That'd be a 100% federally funded project. So I want to bring that to your attention. I just got that email from the confirmation that it was going to be 100%, not an 80-20 deal, but 100% deal from INDOT last week. So I wanted to bring it to your attention. We can work out a deal so that it's in writing. Not that I don't trust INDOT, but so it's in writing that they're going to fund it 100%. for that project.
Do we need a motion from this board to have you withdraw that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I saw the email and I thought it was a great deal, so.
Do we want to withdraw it before you get that in writing?
No, I would suggest the motion be that you allow me to withdraw the appeal, provided that we can work out all the details with NDOT, so it's 100% federally funded.
Then I'll make a motion that we allow County Attorney John Brook to withdraw the appeal, providing that all the fine mechanisms is worked out with NDOT and we get it in writing that they will fund it.
Second.
Okay, we have motion second on the floor to instruct the county attorney to withdraw the appeal with NDOT, providing written documentation to their request and their offer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Okay. Greg, we are ready for payroll and miscellaneous claims.
Sheriff says he really didn't have anything to report. They had 32 prisoners. They did hire a full-time cook and Logo, just part-time cook. And they hired a jailer to replace the full-time cook.
Jailer to replace.
They made a jailer the full-time cook. One of the jailers took the job, the position of the full-time cook, and so they hired a jailer to replace that person.
Sure. Gotcha. You ready for payroll?
Smile.
Is there any changes from what you emailed?
No. Just the $450 of the drainage board added to it, so the total for February 18th, 2013 period is $129,680.88.
I move we approve payroll for $129,680.88.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor to pay the payroll today for February 15th in the amount of $129,680.88. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, miscellaneous claims. Thank you, Darren.
Total for miscellaneous claims is $279,639.33. This total does not include, I just saw Brett Morris, it doesn't include his portion of the jumper.
Okay.
It doesn't.
So you separated the, I noticed back here it was $1,000, the John Brook claim.
That's our portion of it, and then the highway was separate, and they were gonna pay theirs, so now we're paying their highway, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And the highway's portion is $1,187.50.
We can add that on.
And
Right.
you want us to approve that, but you're just gonna, it's just a separate.
Well, I
Well,
can
no,
add
you're
it
just
to the
gonna add it
total.
to the, okay.
That's the exact amount.
It changes the total, right?
Yeah.
What was the total on highways?
$1,187.50.
1187.50.
$280,826.83. You guys good? 88.
2683.
That's right. Can't read that one, right?
Is that what you came up?
Add it up. Okay.
You got any more questions, Jim?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we pay the claims for docket date 2/11/2013 in the amount of $280,826.83.
Second.
Got a motion second on the floor to pay the miscellaneous claims today in the total of $280,826.83 for February 11th for today. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Greg, is Jackie planning on giving us an update today? Or you had her on the
She is
agenda
here,
here.
yes, I think she is.
I have one. We have a separate docket for veteran. I had to do that ahead of time. It is $3,060.56.
Any questions on that? I'll make a motion, we pay the claims to veteran in the amount of $3,060.56 for docket date 25.
Second.
A motion second on the floor to pay the veteran bill or approve it today in the amount of $3,060.56 paid February 5th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We have $15 to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles for the license plates and surveyor truck. I had to pay that early too, so it's license.
Okay, thank you.
Why is this one separate?
Because I had to pay it early. Yes.
Because they didn't give him close
Right.
stuff, he paid. Tough to deal with together.
This is Jason's turn, right?
Yes.
Move to approve the $15, whatever it is. Up here, whatever it is.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to pay a claim, approve the claim paid to the BMV for $15 for the surveyor's truck's license. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And we have received Debbie Travis's bond, which will need to be approved and signed, and we will report it after.
Okay.
If there's no claim, this is just to approve the
Right,
bond.
it's just to approve the bond.
Okay, I move to approve the bond for Debbie Travis.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor to approve Debbie Travis's bond. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I think the last time you signed it on the front there.
And here,
Yes.
all three of us. Yeah. Mhm. Get Joe signed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Jackie?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't have a lot to update with you with this morning. I am putting a synopsis together of the payroll clearing fund. I'll be meeting with the finance committee this afternoon to get some direction on what we need to do to proceed to straighten up the clearing fund. So that's pretty much all I have to report to you this morning.
Okay. Any questions for Jackie? Okay.
That was easy.
That was very easy. Thank you, Jackie. have county attorney on here. John, is there something that you were going to discuss with us today?
Well, there were a couple of things. One of them I just did during the highway department, so that was making. The other one was the auditor's office has received several different requests for public records, mostly about minutes. I talked to Bill Steen about the ability to put minutes on the website, whether we have the space available and whether it was easy enough to convert the minutes into, and there was a place on the website. He thought that was doable. He thought that as soon as Greg could get him the minutes, that he could put them on the website with your approval and direction. I think that would be a good thing to do, is start doing those, going backwards as Greg's office can. Just get those minutes gathered up and give them to Bill, and Bill will download those. It's better for the written minutes to be on the website as opposed to the audio. The audio just takes up and video takes up way too much space. And you don't have that much space on the server. But the written minutes would be more than, there'd be more than enough room to do that. And I would suggest that the commissioners get with Bill Steen, or at least give him direction to start doing that and start downloading those and putting those on the website. So at least those are made available. I think that's a good idea for the county to have those available.
We'd only be obligated to do that after they were approved.
Correct.
So he could take today's approved minutes, scan them, whatever.
Correct. Yeah, and that would be the only ones that would be available, would be the ones that are approved, because those are the official minutes, those are the official record of not only your meetings, but also the council meetings and the other departments, once they're approved. And I would only recommend that the approved minutes be put on the website.
What do you think?
That's a good idea, too.
Well, let's, we entertain a motion. Yes.
Now, are we making?
It just takes a burden off the auditor's office. It's just,
Yeah.
they're public record.
The only thing we can do, though, is our minutes, right? The council has to vote for their own minutes to be put on the website, don't they? Can we?
Technically, that's right. And the plan commission would do the same thing. I think you would, you can adopt a motion that your minutes would be, and you would encourage the other public bodies in the county to do that as well.
Okay.
You technically, the drainage board, once you meet as a drainage board, you would also put those minutes on there as well.
Then I'll make a motion that we instruct the IT director to post the approved written minutes on the website, and recommend that other departments need to do the same thing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor to instruct the IT director to post on the county's website all the approved minutes from the Board of Commissioners meetings, and that we recommend that all the other bodies do the same thing. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay.
I don't believe that, I think that's all we talked about, wasn't it, Greg? That's pretty much all that I had, other than the highway department one, so.
Okay. All right, thanks, John. Where do you want to go now? You want to go to minutes? Let's go to the approval of our minutes.
That was our.
Are they here?
I gave you the ones from the special meetings.
Yeah, that's good, that's right, I have these right here. These are just the statements of the executive session back in January that are done, that just need to be signed by Commissioner Klein and Commissioner Herron.
Okay.
I think there were, what, 3 executive sessions?
I think 4.
4 executive
6th,
sessions.
11th, 13th, 14th.
Did we already approve these, Greg?
You did in December, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Need to be signed.
Okay.
Great, Susan. the only minutes we have.
Yes, that's the ones I have prepared right now.
Next item that we can put on our agenda is our appointments to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Are you ready for that, Joe?
Yes, yes.
We've got two items to discuss. One is that, and then we also have the jail courthouse committee that we can discuss as soon as we take care of the BZA appointments.
Well, the first thing I'd like to do is the Plan Commission Director, Steve Edson, has, at my request, has forwarded this statement. And I just want to put this out here for the public and, of course, the press's information. And it is about the appointment of the BZA alternates. It's a very short statement that he says that the Tipton County Board of Commissioners are acting upon their authority as per IC code to appoint alternate members to the Board of Zoning Appeals due to the fact that two citizen appointments have disqualified themselves due to a conflict of interest relative to UV Wind LLC's application for conditional use approval for Prairie Breeze Wind Farm. A member of the Board of Zoning Appeals is disqualified and may not participate in a matter before the board if the member is prejudiced or if they have a direct or indirect financial interest. IC code, and I think this is particularly important, that IC code specifies that a person may not communicate with any member of the board before the hearing with intent to influence the member's action on a matter pending before the board. That's just a copy of the letter of the press or anybody would want. Having said that, I would move that this board appoint to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the alternate position John Law and Neil Plana.
Do they have to be specifically named for a spatial person, or can?
I don't think that's necessary.
John is
So I was asking John.
You have two appointments. You don't have to name them. They don't have to be alternate for A or alternate for B. You're appointing two for two.
They don't have to be specific for a person.
They're not really, they don't really represent districts or anything like that, so.
Then I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to appoint John Law and Neil Plana. And I will recuse myself from the vote, so we'll need Joe and Phil to vote on these alternates. Those in favor of John Law and Neil Plana, say aye.
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 Okay, unanimous then with the two commissioners voting, and I will recuse myself from that vote.
There's the contact information, Greg.
Mr. President, can we ask why you recused yourself?
No, I don't have any comment. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the jail courthouse committee that Commissioner Van Bibber has agreed to head up.
Over the last 6 weeks, a large list of names have stepped forward and asked to be a member of the jail study committee. It is my intention that anyone that wants to be a member of this committee we certainly wouldn't eliminate anyone. I have 2 people that have graciously accepted co-chairs positions, one being Judge Tom Lett and the other being Dick Klein. I guess if we want a motion, do you want a motion to accept this study committee?
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
All right, I'll do that, and then I'll make some comments. I would move that we would accept the jail study committee list as I will submit.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor then to accept the judge or the jail study committee that is presented to us as of today from the auditor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do you have any other comments about
just-
organization of the group?
Well, you know, and I think that's the group's that's the group's decision, but I would like to see that maybe the group come down to where they have 4 or 5 subcommittees where they could study some different issues. First of all, I think the first issue they need to decide is, do we need a new jail? If that answer would be no, then I suppose the committee could be disbanded and go home. Other than that, I think there's some issues that, along with the consultants' work, that where is the new jail? How big is the new jail? How do we fund the new jail? I think it's important, what do we do with the old jail in that building? I think this committee could be very important in giving some recommendations. I would anticipate in 2 weeks, I'll take this list, make a contact list out of it, get it to Mr. Klein and Judge Lett, and they can set up meetings however they'd like to do. The other thing that I think I'll recommend is that we fund this committee. This committee is going to have some outside resources. If you'll remember, the former consultants wanted to do this for, I believe the quote was $50,000. And I don't think we're, I don't mean to say that figure was out of line, but I just don't think that the consultant driving the committee is what this community wants. I think the community should drive the consultant. So if we request any information or presentations from these consultants, I think they're going to want to be paid. I think that's reasonable at this point. So I will write an amendment to the capital improvement project for our next meeting for us to discuss.
We'll have to wait and see after they meet and see what they're going to expect. I mean, if they have that first meeting and they say we don't need a new jail, then
okay. Yeah, we don't have to. We can write I can write the amendment in very short time. So I'll just report back at the next meeting on this list with a contact list. We'll go from there. That's all I got.
Okay.
Well, you brought up capital improvement plan. We need to get that updated.
Yeah, there's,
We want John, while he's here, he was not very good on the last bit of information.
yeah, it'd be a good idea that we could talk to him about the capital improvement plan after the meeting.
Right.
Okay. That'd be great. Okay. What other things do we have on the agenda we need to take care of this morning? Did you have something that you wanted to bring up? What are we,
Can I give you a copy of that? The energy systems.
I know
It's on the list, but I don't have a copy of it.
I've got a copy.
You got a copy? Yeah, essentially.
I guess I don't really understand. They make this look like an invoice, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know. They want $5,000 from us to update their study to prove to us that what the work they did several years ago is still saving the county money on our energy bills, or $6,500 approximately to cancel the whole program. I guess probably need to do a little bit more research to find out what the original agreement was. This has been several years ago.
well, probably be a good idea for you to give that agreement to John and let him look it over and give us some advice on what we need to do going forward.
This is not, if you read this, it says Energy Systems Group entered into a facility improvement project for Tipton County Courthouse a couple of years ago. Doesn't sound to me like they're very sure about that.
Need to get all the facts and let John look it over for us and
You have a
review
copy
it.
before I got the,
No, I don't know, that's,
here, Greg, you want this back?
Yeah.
is there anything else that you have, Greg?
No.
Okay. Ready for any comments from the public here?
Did we want to talk about this camera
Oh,
thing?
yeah, that's right, I did have that. You want, is there any reason to discuss that?
I don't think we're ready to really discuss it over.
Okay. Bill sent us an email this week, that he's able to get the price reduced on those cameras.
I would like to just discuss one thing. We are in agreement that if we go ahead and go forward with this, this would be a courthouse budget item. Do we agree on that?
I think it should be a budget.
I do. You know, someone mentioned out of the IT budget, but it's, you know, it's a permanent fixture. It's probably
This should be a courthouse budget.
So
And there's not money in the IT budget anyway. for that.
exactly. And there may not be,
Also-
well, I don't think there's money in our budget at this time, but
Also, I think we ought to wait till the ADA comes through, because we may need to tie some of that in with what the ADA uncompliance have found, especially in our door entries, which would change.
Well, yeah, because they're, at the meeting that we all attended, their recommendation was that, or at least their preliminary recommendation was that we go to
Close it to one door.
one entrance for the courthouse. So that might change that, you're right.
So I think we need to get the ADA before we decide what type of.
I think the first thing we need back is the budget,
Yeah.
get the budget approved. I noticed most, or not most, but a lot of budgets are already approved for some counties. I don't know whether they do that alphabetically or how they come up with that.
Okay.
Go dark to the board, I think.
I think so too, yeah.
Well, at least somebody's got a reason.
Anything else? Are there any comments from the public? Any questions? Jim? Come on.
I'd like to ask one question.
Will you go to the microphone so everybody can hear you?
I guess what John said, I'd like to ask one question about the minutes. And if the council provides those minutes for the website, would that preclude then anybody coming in to Greg and asking for a copy of that? Can we just tell them then go to the website, they're on there? Or will Greg still have to provide those minutes to that person?
It would preclude that because they'd be available to the public and that would already be out there.
So that can get that out of Greg's?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
One question, please. And they'll speak up once again. I don't believe that your minutes for November or December have been finalized yet. Just wondering when that might happen, because that dealt with the UV project.
I have the November 5th, almost ready to present in the draft form to you to review. I will have the 19th done soon. It was in skeleton form. They're not ready for review yet.
Ken, his comment was the minutes from the 5th are almost finished, and he's working on the 19th, so he's almost completed
We'll work
with
on those
those.
over the weekend. I'll have this soon.
All right, thank you.
Is it reasonable that we would have the 5th, the 19th, the 17th of January, and today's minutes at our next meeting?
I think it's reasonable.
Okay, so all 4 sets of
Joe,
minutes.
which ones were those?
But I just threw those numbers down. It was 5 and 19 of December. Are those the dates?
5 and 19 of November.
Of November, okay.
December
Yeah.
17th. I believe.
No, I'm talking about our last one. January 17th. Is that when we met
Yeah,
last?
we met January 2nd.
Second, and then the 15th,
14th, wasn't it?
14th.
Yeah, 14th, 28th.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Mike Baden?
Good morning, thank you. I just had a little concern of what we were talking about, that would preclude Greg's position on having to get copies for folks that they should have. My worry here in general is, guys, we still have, I know that the vast majority of us are trying to come along into the technological field. I am being drugged by my kids. Okay, we do not all, we're still not all on the internet. Okay? So I would be a little concerned. I could understand that if someone needed to come in to get a copy, you know, there might be a nominal fee, I don't know, $1 for a copy. I don't know what the answer is.
I think you can go to the library and get that too.
I understand what you're saying, but you're assuming that everybody has the ability and know-how to get on the internet. You see what I'm saying?
I think the library has that, and they would get them for you. I think. I don't know for sure.
That's just my concern. You know, I just want everybody to have availability. That's the whole thing. I'm not trying to be difficult on it. I know a lot of people, this generation, the young kids they're born with them in their hands, but there's still a lot of people, especially I know I talk to a lot of friends that we're trying to get on, you know, because it does make it easier, but not everybody has access. Thank you.
Okay.
Our office would accommodate somebody in that, in a special circumstance like that.
Just a follow-up question on what Joe had asked, the particular meetings in question, I want to just kind of go over and see which ones we're going to make available next time. I got November 5th, November 19th, December 17th, November 20th. Oh, that's county council, forget that one. That's it. For commissioners. Are those the three we're talking about? 1, 2, 3.
You had asked
Is that correct?
you had asked for January 14th.
Last meeting.
Last one.
Is he correct? His date's correct, Greg?
The 11th, the 5th and 19th, December 17th is another one, yes.
But, you know, to me, the dates are irrelevant. I'd just like to see them where we get them up to date. I realize that puts a burden on you, but once we get that, to that point.
We are still in the midst of trying to tie up the corrections work with Maximus, and I still have an annual budget that's due by the end of this month by statute. And I cannot stop the operation of the office to do this ancillary work. That the statutory requirements I have to take care of.
Okay.
So as best I can, I will have those available.
All right. Any other comments or
I
questions?
didn't hear anything that our Mr. Auditor had to say about those meetings and questions. I'm sorry if you're not a loudspeaker, I just didn't hear you.
The auditor's office is still in the process of finishing up the work with Maximus, and we have state mandated reports that have to be out by the end of this month. I am obligated to get those done first and foremost. To the best of my ability, I will get those reports finished for review by the Board of Commissioners, and then they can be posted.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry, I just didn't
Yep.
hear you.
Okay. Any other comments? Bob?
Just one thing, I don't know which meeting it was this month, you discussed the UMBA bills for the Chrysler project. Have you received all the UMBA bills and the Barnes and Thornburg, and if so, can you tell us how much?
No, I mean, we have just recently this week received the Barnes and Thornburg bill, so that will have to be included in the claims next meeting.
So do you have all the bills now for that?
I believe they're all in. To the best of my knowledge, they are completed.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
I just wanted, did you guys get a copy of this? Or they're doing the survey work at Main and Division. It's just information. If you remember, we asked the county engineer to look at that intersection. I just noticed that he's following up with the surveyor to do some survey.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a complete copy.
It's,
No, he said, I think the letter said it'll be done in February. March.
okay, that's
It's-
no change from earlier. When was that letter? February 6th, yeah, okay. Last week's letter.
Who they send it to?
I got it in a separate envelope, not as an email. And then I got one for 500 South, 1100 West. That's your house.
No, 1100 West is,
I brought it in the surveyor's office and asked them, and they had some legitimate reason that they sent it to me.
yeah, that's shared with us on my list.
Okay.
Okay, have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned. Wow.